Hello and welcome to Ultima Online's 20th anniversary story arc event tutorial. So let's just go ahead and jump right into part 1. The first thing you're going to want to do is travel to any of the towns and talk to one of the town heralds and purchase the latest edition of the town crier. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and go over to the crystal portal and type in Britain Mint to take me to the Britain Mint. Now to locate the local city herald. There he is. Just trot on over, single click, and select Buy Editions of the Town Crier from the menu. The paper then appears in your backpack where you can double click it and take a nice close look at what the latest Sosarian news is. What it boils down to is that you're going to need to run city trade orders and get ambushed by ambushers in between cities while running the trade orders. So now we must get a city trade order. Any city that you're known in, you can get a trade order from. In the city of Britain, the Minister of Trade is the gentleman that you get the trade orders from, and he is located on the South Docks of Britain. So we'll take a run down there and come up on the Minister of Trade. So again, it would be a single left click on the Minister of Trade, get trade order, click I accept on the trade order to accept the trade order. You should now have a trunk or a barrel in your backpack showing the trade order. Now run around in the wilderness and hope you get ambushed.
Oh, I got a skeleton knight. I got up in here.
You will notice the burning crates and a variety of monsters when you are ambushed. Be sure to slay all of the ambushers, and always be wary of other monsters that may be creeping up behind you to join in the fray.
What? There's a turkey behind you, babe. I got him. I got him. I got him.
Do not do that to me.
You will receive a message alerting you that you've been ambushed, and the ambushers will steal the trade barrel or crate from your backpack, so during the battle, it will be missing.
Is that what happened to me? My trade order got stolen?
Maybe.
Those thieving brigands.
Once you have defeated the ambushers, you will recover your stolen trade order. It will give you a message, and the order will appear back in your backpack. Now that you have been ambushed and defeated your ambushers, it's time to check the corpse for some of the special items for the anniversary arc event. If you keep an eye on your journal, you will receive a message indicating that there is a special item located on a specific corpse. Simply open the corpse, locate the item, and remove it to your backpack to store for later use in the 20th anniversary story arc. Double-clicking a recovered story arc item will either reveal more information about the item or give you a message that you lack the required skill. Characters with the required skill will receive a gump explaining more about the item. Continue wandering the roads and wilderness, getting ambushed and filling trade orders in hopes to collect the entire collection of the first part of anniversary arc items. To my knowledge at this time, there are 11 first part anniversary arc items that can be attained from the ambushers of this first part of the storyline. There is also many robes and hats that have special hue numbers, a specially hued color that can be collected as well. I do not have a complete list or pictures of the items or the special hued items, but that list is available at www.stratix.com. If you look in the forums, I'm sure you can find a thread for the 20th anniversary arc, and I believe contributor there has posted images of what the items look like, as well as a complete list of the available special hued items and the items that will be used in the anniversary arc. So if you want to see a list, visit Stratix.com. I did not have the foresight to contact the original poster and owner of the content posted on Stratix to obtain permission to repost that content here in this tutorial video. So for that reason, I am not going to post it here, but feel free to go on over to Stratix.com if you'd like to view that list for yourself. Okay, well, all that being said, let's go ahead and move on to part 2. Okay, so for part 2 of the 20th anniversary story arc, you're going to want to return to the City Herald that we went to in the first part of the story arc and purchase a second paper. That being said, if this is the first time you're buying a paper, we are into the third part already, so you will indeed get all 3 newspapers when you go to the City Herald. Be sure to double-click each newspaper that you receive from the City Herald and read it, as that often triggers the next part of the quest. The second newspaper basically says in a nutshell that the treasure hunters have noticed odd treasure chests being dug up out of the ground. The long and short of it is that you'll want to visit 3 dungeons. Any of the 3 will do: Dungeon Deceit, Dungeon Hithloth, or Dungeon Destard. Currently here I am in Dungeon Destard fighting shadow worms. What we are looking for is treasure maps obtained from these dungeons during this anniversary story arc period. Once you've obtained your treasure maps, you will then need your treasure hunter or a friend that has a treasure hunter to dig up the treasure maps. So I farmed here in Destard for an hour, hour and a half. I got about 20 or 25 treasure maps. I had them all in a bag, so now we'll switch over to my T-Hunter and start digging up these treasure maps. The first thing you should notice when you open the treasure map with your treasure hunter is the special gump that you get, indicating that this map was found in either Destard, Deceit, or Hithloth. If you do not get this gump, this is not a correct map for the story arc, so make sure you get the gump. I highly recommend the use of Davies Locker when treasure hunting, and I will run you briefly through how I use Davies Locker to treasure hunt. To open Davies Locker, of course, you'll want to just double-click it. Then, using the directional cursors at the bottom of the gump for Davies Locker, you'll want to go to your last page of your locker. In my case, I currently have 24 pages, so I will be on page 24 of 24. You will notice that the bottom 2 slots of page 24 are indeed empty, so I'm going to click Add Map and click the map in my backpack, which then adds it to Davies Locker. Here you can see I now only have 1 slot left available on page 24. So the very last map shown in Davies Locker is the map that I just added. And now I will write down the coordinates of that map from Davies Locker. Next, click the blue button next to the map that you just added, and it will retrieve it back into your backpack. Be careful to keep track of how the maps are appearing in your backpack in relation to how you've written them down so that you don't get them mixed. Now let's go ahead and open our treasure map back up, and we're going to compare that to a map of Britannia. I use UO Cartographer, so I can compare my treasure map to the map on UO Cartographer and get a general idea of where it is on the map of Britannia. At that point, I just try to find the nearest spot that I have a rune to, or can gate to, or can quickly get to, that's as close as possible to the actual treasure location. Once you get in the vicinity of your treasure map location, you can easily use the coordinates on UO cartographer or the EC client or whatever map client you might be using to match the coordinates that you received from Davies Locker, similar in how you would fish up an SOS. At this point with 100 mining, if you're within 3 tiles of the actual location of the treasure map, it will start to dig it. Now you dig the special treasure chest out of the ground, and as you can see, it will appear as an obelisk as opposed to the standard treasure chest. Once it pops out of the ground, it will spawn the guardian monsters just like a treasure chest does. Once you have defeated the guardians of the chest, like you would in a normal treasure chest, you'll find that the top of the chest, the gray part right here, is in fact a mysterious guardian. You can actually pull a bar off of it and it will have a health bar, that gray area right there. You will be unable to open the chest until you defeat the top portion of the obelisk, which is the mysterious guardian bar there at the top. Magic, as you can see, has no effect on the mysterious guardian at the top of the obelisk, so physical damage will have to be done to it. Here you can see that I am attacking it physically with a mage weapon that I had on my luck suit. That was taking too long, so we gated in a thrower to give us a hand. As you can see, we do have a health bar there. A mysterious guardian is what it reads in full, and then the thrower starts taking it out physically with physical weapons. Hurry, minions! We have an evil to defeat. From here, you will treat the base of the obelisk the same as you would any normal treasure chest. You will use your lockpicks to unlock it, back off, get your party and your friends away, use telekinesis to spring the trap, and then open the treasure chest. This is where the enhanced client comes in very, very handy because it sorts all the items in the chest. In the classic client, I would have to pull all of those items out to get to the items that I'm after, which are in the bottom of the chest. Another nice thing that we've found in the enhanced client is all of the items for the anniversary arc event are located in the bottom of the chest. So if you scroll down to the bottom of the loot, that is where you're going to find the arc items. Items that we found in chests include black candles, red candles, the 3 spells that are necessary for the Pagan spell book coming up in part 3. We're looting a few of those things here. We found various obsidian, pumice, and other ingredients that we found that we needed for use in the upcoming part 3 as well. So if you're using the enhanced client, you're going to find the anniversary items at the bottom of the chest. Classic client, you're going to have to pull the stuff out and look under everything to find it all. Highly recommend enhanced client for this portion. Makes it a lot easier to fly through these chests. With a good 2-3 man team, you can dig them up, pop them, pull out the items you want, wizards, curios, imbuing ingredients, grapevines, whatever you find in there that you want, leave the garbage. After looting your chest of all the items for the anniversary arc that you want and what other items you may need, it's always courteous to single click the chest, click remove chest, confirm remove chest, and that removes the chest from the play field and allows the next treasure hunter that may have a map in this same location to not have to wait for it to decay and time out. Just kind of a courteous thing to do, so please try to do that and be aware, especially at a time like this when there's a lot of treasure hunting going on. So in conclusion for part 2 of the anniversary arc, find a dungeon, maybe do all 3, maybe get 10 from each dungeon. I'm not exactly sure if you get different ingredients from maps from different dungeons. I farmed all mine in Desert and was able to complete part 3 with the items obtained from the chests from those maps. So gather a bunch of maps, get you 20 or 30 of them, run them through Davies Locker, keep track of your map positions and your coordinates, dig them up, have some sort of physical weapon or a physical melee character with you to kill the mysterious guardian on top of the stone base. Treat the stone base as you would a normal treasure chest. If you can, use the enhanced client to help loot the chests, remove the chests when you're done, and you should be able to stockpile yourself a nice collection of second part anniversary arc items, being reagents such as obsidian, blackmore, executioner hats, and the 3 spells intervention, and I honestly don't remember the other 2, summon Perihelion and Grant Peace, I believe, is the 3rd one. There are 3 of them that will be needed in the next part, part 3. This does conclude part 2. Appreciate everybody bearing with me this far, and I will see you in a couple of seconds for part 3. Welcome to Ultima Online 20th Anniversary Story Arc Event Part 3. And if you've been following along with the first 2 parts and made it this far, you guessed it, we're going to have to find out the latest news. So we're going to head on over to our crystal ball, we're going to type in Britannia Mint, and we're going to head on down to Britannia. Back over to the City Herald, we're going to purchase the 3rd newspaper. If I had to break down part 3, and I do because I'm doing this tutorial, I would break it down into 5 parts. The first part is essentially a quest to obtain the quest to get the other 4 parts, and then there's 4 mini quests there to obtain those 4 pieces. When returned back to the main quest, you receive a pretty exciting item that leaves quite a bit to wonder about for the next part of the 20th anniversary story arc. So that being said, the newspaper is giving us some hints, and now I'm going to give you a hint. Don't go to the Lyceum right off the bat. There's nothing there for you yet. Turns out that this quest is in fact begun by the Herald himself. You can see here he has an exclamation point above his head. When I double click him, I get the quest menu there. Essentially, he's asking if I've read the latest news, and I believe I have, but I did not get the quest and accept it before I read the news. So I have to accept his quest to read the news. Then double-click the 3rd edition of the Town Crier to open it. At this point, you've registered that you've read the news, and then you can double-click the Herald again to get the next part of this quest, which is where he tells you to go talk to the people in the Marsh Hall. And go ahead and accept that portion of the quest. Here is the location of the Marsh Hall in Vesper, so let's just go ahead and head that way. When you arrive at the Marsh Hall, there are 3 tavern goers that you're going to want to speak with. There is Gavin the Guard at the west side. Double-click him to bring up his menu, and then you will simply run through his conversation, asking him about what's been going on. And then you'll want to do the same for the Baroness in the east and the Merchant to the south. Once you've spoken with all 3 patrons, you will get a gump inviting you to come speak to Sherry the Mouse, who is located in the southwestern corner of the tavern behind the bar right there. Go speak with Sherry the Mouse. Sherry tells a story of needing to send a note to Mithrin the Mage in the Ethereal Void, and after accepting this note from Sherry, you will receive a scroll of ethereal travel in your backpack. Double-clicking the scroll reveals that it requires a piece of black rock as a reagent to cast the spell. I would bring 10 or 15 pieces of black rock because you're going to use this spell a couple of times throughout this quest. So with black rock in pack, go ahead and double click the scroll again to open the gump, and then you'll want to click the blue dot next to cast. This will teleport you to the Ethereal Void where you can speak with Mithrin the Mage and give him Sherry's mysterious note. After reading Sherry's note, Mithrin wants you to check on his friend Heigl back at the Moonglow Lyceum. Accept his quest and then return to the Moonglow Lyceum. Now that you've reached the Lyceum, locate Heldgard the Mage. Double-clicking him reveals more of the quest chain, and he appears to die before your very eyes. Thinking that he's dead, you naturally search his body for valuables, at which point you discover he is still alive, and with his dying breath, he hands you a blood-soaked parchment and asks that you return it to Mithrin the Mage in the Ethereal. He seems insistent that you shall become the warrior of the Ethereal.
I'm not real sure what to do at this point. I don't know why I don't have access to it.
So I had logged out in the middle of the quest and logged on the next day and tried to continue the quest from the point that I had left off, and my ethereal travel scroll was not responding to double clicking. I had no idea why. I tried dropping the quest, restarting the quest. I eventually got it working, but since then I want to note now for you that it is a known issue, and if your ethereal travel scroll does stop working, do page a GM, a game master in-game. They are responding very quickly. GM River fixed my scroll in a matter of seconds, so evidently knew exactly what the problem was. So if your scroll stops working, page a GM. And so use your ethereal travel scroll to travel back to the ethereal to talk with Mithrin again. Upon completing this portion of the quest, Mithrin will ask you to obtain 4 items. These 4 items are the 4 mini quests that I referred to. So this portion begins the 4 mini quests for the 4 items.
Okay, objective. All of the following: a heart of the earth, a tongue of flames, a breath of air, and a tear of seas.
You should now have the Pagan Spellbook in your backpack, and you should also be able to add the 3 new Pagan spells to the Spellbook, the spells that you got on Part 2 from the treasure chests. Summon the Perihelion, Grant Peace, and Intervention. I'm headed now to the Minik Mines, where there is Quicksilver elementals that you kill to get through that rock wall right there. So these are the Quicksilver elementals that you want to fight to obtain the Quicksilver that you need to craft the item to cast the spell to get through the rocks back into the mine. And this is the Quicksilver. It should be noted here that you're going to need 20 Quicksilver to craft the item that's needed to continue the quest. You're going to need a tinker with 100 tinkering and 100 magery. At 100 tinkering and 100 magery, your tinker will have a 5% chance to craft this item. So you're going to fail a few times. You might want to get some extra Quicksilver. You can use a talisman to boost your percentage chance. And you could also turn in tinkering BODs to get enough points to obtain a crafting talisman that will not guarantee your chance of success, but it will make it so your quicksilver won't be lost when you fail. So just note that you need a tinker with 100 tinkering, 100 magery, and lots of extra quicksilver. Once you have all the quicksilver that you need, go ahead and give that quicksilver to your tinker mage, who can then open his tinker menu. On the tinkering menu, select Tools, go to the last page, and select the focus of theurgy. When your tinker successfully crafts the focus of theurgy, it will appear in his backpack. Now that you have the focus, you can return to Minik and open your pagan spellbook and turn to the spell that uses the focus of theurgy. The spellbook will also list any other reagents that might be needed. If there are some needed, they will be found in the treasure chests and the ambushes from the first and second part of the event. The spellbook also lists the words of power, so just type in the words of power and then press enter. You will then be teleported through the rocks into the mines, and you will receive the gump, and you will receive the breath of air. Congratulations. You have only 3 more items to retrieve to take back to Mithrin to complete the quest. Be sure to check your pagan spellbook and ensure that you have all of the items needed to complete the other 2 spells. The third piece or fourth piece will be fished up by an MIB, and we'll get to that later. If you don't have all the ingredients for all 3 spells, you need to go back to parts 1 and 2 to obtain them from either ambushers or treasure chests, or maybe buy them from another player or trade. This is the tutorial portion that will cover the Heart of the Earth, and it is obtained using the Grant Peace spell. I have already gathered the small pouch and other necessary reagents to cast the spell. I only need the special item that is obtained from the undead creatures on a small island northwest of Scarabray. So I traveled to Scarabray Mint. I then went to the shipwright and bought a small ship, and I launched that ship from Scarabray, and I will sail around Scarabray to the small island with the special undead spawn. Here's just a quick picture of the map to show the small island there to the north in relation to Scarabray. It can be tricky getting off the boat and onto the island, so try to approach the island somewhere where there's not a lot of undead spawn that will kill you immediately. Once you are on the island, all you really need to do is kill all the undead creatures that you see or can find, and the item will automatically appear in your backpack as a drop from killing the monsters. Now grab a pouch and place the Blackmore and the Executioner's cap inside the pouch. Return to the Undead Island along with the key of the Caretaker and the pouch in your backpack. With undead creatures near you, double-click the key of the Caretaker and target the pouch. Congratulations, you have obtained the Heart of the Earth. The Heart of the Earth will be inside the pouch, inside your backpack. Summon the Perihelion takes a bit of preparation. You'll want to have your carpenter build you a pentagram house add-on, as seen here to the right of my Sampire. Lock down 4 red candles and 1 black candle, just as you see them here. Place the reagents around the pentagram as shown here. Obsidian at the bottom, pumice to the left, sulfurish ash to the right, and the daemon bone at the top of the star on the top red candle. Now stand in the circle and say the words of power. And beneath you, you will find a bright red demon statue. Pick it up and put it in your backpack. Your next destination will be the Isle of the Avatar. Once on the Isle of the Avatar, make your way towards Fire Temple, which is located approximately the middle of the island. The entrance is on the south side of the temple. Enter the temple and run up the stairs to the pentagram at the top. Double-click the focus in your backpack to summon the Perihelion, and defeat the summoned Perihelion. Congratulations, you've earned the Tongue of Flames. To obtain the Terror of the Sea, we will need to visit Kalen the Necromancer in the flooded portion of Vesper. This is the flooded portion of Vesper. Once you've located Kalen, simply double-click him to begin the quest. Kalen tells us a story of his betrothed who died in a wave or a flood. Essentially, what it boils down to is he wants a memento to remember her by. So it is now time to go fishing. Once you've accepted this quest, a character with 0 fishing that has the quest can fish up MIBs, as well as GM or legendary fishers can also do it if they have the quest as well. I've heard reports of characters with 0 fishing on the quest fishing up 3 MIBs and receiving the Tear of the Seas, or actually the staff that Kalen wants of his betrothed. I personally fished up 30 to 40 MIBs with a 120 fisher before I received the item, so it can be a bit time consuming. Be prepared to either gather MIBs or buy them from fishing vendors. In the enhanced client, you can use your in-game map, and it will greatly assist you in fishing up your MIBs or SOSs. The green dots on the map here represent the MIB locations. You can click these locations on your map and select Remove Waypoint to remove them from the map area. To add waypoints to the map, simply double-click your SOS and click the facet that you are on, and it will add the waypoint to your map. Like I said, it can take a lot of SOSs to get this item, so be patient, keep fishing those SOSs. You might get a couple nice items along the way. Eventually, you'll receive this notification that you have indeed received the staff. The staff is not in the SOS chest. It appears in your backpack along with this message. At this point, you simply need to return the staff to Kalen the Necromancer back in Vesper to obtain the Tears of the Sea. Now you will want to gather all 4 of the items that you have obtained and mark them in your backpack with your menu on your character as quest items. Return to the Ethereal Void and return those items to Mithrin. Mithrin will then give you a stone base, which is a container. When you open the container, the 4 items will be back inside of the container, along with a green gem of power. Sadly, the footage I had for this portion and climax of the event is corrupted. I'm sure I'll be running this quest again, and when I do, I will obtain some new footage that I can share with you. In the meantime, you'll want to take your box that you get from Mithrin the Mage back to your home and open it up, and you'll want to build the obelisk. It looks just like the obelisk that you dug out of the ground in part 2 when treasure hunting. It will take a bit of experimentation for you to get it just right. You will need a house decorating tool. The entire obelisk takes up 4 tiles. So if we had 2 tiles to the north, an east and a west, and 2 tiles to the south, an east and a west, you will want to place the green gem in the northwest tile of the 4 tile segment. Then use your house decorating tool to raise it up as high as it will go. Place the next 4 items in the southeast corner, and again use your house deco tool to raise them up as high as they will go. Then place the stone base underneath all of the pieces. You may need to use the house deco tool to lower the green gem a little bit to make everything connect. In the end, you will have a completed obelisk that you can double click on, and whatever you're holding in your hand, it worked on a fishing pole for me, it also works on spell books and weapons. Whatever item you're holding in your hand will receive the Pagan Titan Slayer property. Not sure how long that lasts. I thought it might be 24 hours, but it appears to go away its server down. Of course, I haven't checked every hour, so it may just be a couple hours that that property remains. This will complete the 20th anniversary story arc tutorial for parts 1, 2, and 3. I appreciate you watching. This is the first tutorial I have done, and I think that's probably obvious. Moving forward, if there's enough interest with the community, I'd be happy to make some more videos, even on other subjects. So if you have any information, tips, tricks that can help other players along, please do leave them in the comments below. If you'd like to see more videos, let me know that. If you have certain subjects that you might like to see a video on, please let me know that as well in the comments below. I do appreciate everyone stopping by to check out this video. I hope it helped you in some way, and I hope you enjoy the 20th anniversary story event arc. I also want to give a shout out to Dilly Bar, person who came by stream while I was doing the story event arc and was extremely helpful, more than willing to share his knowledge of the anniversary arc events. He had already completed them, even came on to Catskills and donated me some extra Quicksilver that he had gathered and did not need. Just a great UO player. Really appreciated the assistance and, you know, more importantly, the sense of community, which is what UO really is about in its deepest core. So thanks, Dilly Bar. I appreciate it, and we'll see you in. If you'd like to see more of our antics, you can always catch us live at www.twitch.tv/CRACKTAKULOUR. We'll see you in stream.
Look at that shit.